Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today I'm going to cover 12 most important questions that are being asked in Power BI interview. So these questions will mainly cover on the basis of the difference between two different either functions or DAX or any other functionality of the Power BI. So let's start with the first question. Okay. So the first question is, what is the difference between measure and calculated column? This is most important question that are being asked in today's Power BI interview questions. So how we can explain this? I'll show you as a layman so that you can understand this better and explain when you are sitting on any of the interview or you are preparing for any of the interview. So let's see what is the difference between measure and calculated column. So I have categorized these two in different columns. So the measure is calculated at a runtime. It depends on the filters and slicers visuals. So when you create a measure, it will depend on the filters and the slicers visuals. So for example, if you are applying any filters after creating the measures, the value of the measures will get changed as per the slicer, as per the filter, or as per the visuals. Okay, and this is the most important thing. Measure never store any of the data. It simply gives you the calculation, and it is uses for the aggregations. Okay, so it used for the aggregations value, so to do the sum, count, or average. And the example that we can take is like when we are creating a measure, we use DAX to calculate it. So for example, total sales is equal to sum of sales amount. So this way we can create the measure. Okay. Now coming to the calculated column, instead of running at the runtime, it it calculates at data refresh time. So whenever the data gets refreshed, means the table gets refreshed, the values of the calculated column will get refreshed. Okay, and it stored permanently in table. So when you create a calculated column, there is a separate column which will be added and will remain there in the table permanently. Now coming to the storing of the data, same value for every report and used for row level logic. So I'll show you in the next video how this works, the measure and the calculated column. But for now, uh, just understand that the calculated column always calculates row wise, right? So for example, if we need to calculate a column to get the difference between the amount and the cost, so we will apply this one. Okay, so here is a one line definition is the measure works when report runs and the calculated column works when data loads. Now coming to the next question, I hope this helps you. I'll explain in the coming video more about to show you how these two works in real-time Power BI desktop. So coming to the next question, this is the difference between import mode and direct query mode. So this is the most asked question in interview Power BI interviews. So these are two different ways to connect the data with Power BI desktop before making our report done. So let's see what is the difference between these two. So in import mode versus in direct query mode, import mode data is copied into Power BI, which means whenever we use the import mode, data is being downloaded into the Power BI desktop. But in the direct query mode, data stays in source system. It is not being downloaded into the Power BI desktop. So it is not using the memory, right? And now coming to the second difference, that is report performance is fast when we are using the import mode. Report performance is fast as compared to the direct query mode. And as you can see here, performance depends on database speed. Okay. And now the third difference is works without internet. So since the data is being copied into the Power BI, it does not require internet once it is being downloaded. Okay, and in the direct query mode, it is pretty much opposite. Like it sends the live queries to database. Whenever you do anything, it needs a live connection between the Power BI desktop to the data source. Data updated only after refresh. So once you do a manual refresh, only then a data will gets refreshed. Otherwise, it will remain same as you have downloaded. Now coming to the direct query mode, it always shows real near to real time data. So here is one liner difference. Import mode, data comes inside Power BI, while direct query mode, Power BI asks database every time. I hope this is clear to you. I'll show you this also when I'll create a new video to show you practical of all these questions. Now coming to the third question, which is difference between all selected and all accept. Again, one of the most important question are being asked in the Power BI interview these days. So here is the difference. I have categorized these in three columns: name of the function, what it does, and use case. Okay, so what is all doing is it removes all filters from tables and columns and ignores slicers. So now coming to this all selected, it removes filters inside visuals only. It keeps slicer filters, and all except is removes all filters except specified columns. Okay, so here is one liner you can understand is all equal to ignore everything, all selected is respect slicers, and all except is keep selected column filters. Okay, so use case is also explaining same. Let's move to the new question, which is the difference between sum and SUMX. Okay, what is the difference between sum and SUMX? Sum adds values from one column only. Okay, while SUMX works row by row using expressions. So when we have uh, any condition to add, like for example, when we need to include two from the values from two columns, or we want to do the calculations row by rows. So for example, we are adding profit and the cost. Okay, we are adding these two values. First it will include profit to cost, and then we'll do the sum as an aggregation. It is simple and fast, the sum, and the SUMX is used when calculation required before sum. Okay, so this is the example of how we can calculate the sum, and this is example of how we can create the measure of SUMX. Okay, so this is the direct addition, and SUMX is the calculate first, then add. Okay, coming to the next question, which is the difference between count A, and count rows. Let's see what is the difference. Count is it counts only numbers. So when you want to count only numbers, so you can definitely refer to count. Now count A is counts non-blank values, text and numbers. It will count all the text and all the numbers except blank. Okay, count rows in a table. In an entire table, how many rows are there? Okay, so this is pretty much straightforward. And now coming to this one, the difference between star schema and snowflake schema, one of the most asked questions. Star schema is one fact table connected to multiple dimension tables in such a way, like in the middle there is a fact table, and that fact table is being connected with the multiple dimension tables through a direct connection with that. But in Snowflake schema, dimension tables are further connected. So one dimension table can connect it with another dimension table, and then the fact table is there. This is very much simple structure, and Snowflake is more complex structure. Star schema is in better performance, Snowflake slightly slower performance. This is easy to understand, and this is more detailed and normalized. Okay, so this is one liner. Star equal to simple and fast, while Snowflake is equal to complex and detailed. I hope this is understood. Now coming to the next question, The difference between fact table and dimension table. Let's see the explanation. Fact table contains numbers or measures, while the dimension contains descriptive data. Fact table is very large in size, while dimension is smaller in size. So, for example, sales, revenue, and quantity, and this contains the customer, product, and date. Okay. So, dimension table is basically containing the you can say static data. So, for example, if you want to store a student's detail, that table will be considered as an dimension table. While if you are referring to a fact table, the fact table will be a frequently changing data. So, for example, as you are capturing the attendance of the student, so in that table, uh, the daily attendance will be stored. So that way we can explain the difference between fact table and dimension table. So fact is numbers to analyze, while the dimension details to filter by. Now coming to the next question, which is difference between filter context and row context. So row context works row by row, while filter context applied by slicers, filters, or visuals. Row context used in calculated columns and iterators, while the filter context used mainly in measures. Okay, row context refers to current row only. Okay, and filter context refers to selected data, the entire data that is selected. In one liner, let's see, row context is equal to current row, while filter context equal to selected data. Coming to the next question, which is difference between Power Query and DAX. Okay, so Power Query is used for data cleaning and transformation, while DAX used for calculations and analysis. Power Query works before data is loaded, while DAX works after data is loaded. So before we load the data, we refer to Power Query to clean the data and transform it. Power Query uses AM language, while DAX uses DAX language, data analysis expressions. Power Query data preparation layer, and DAX is data calculation layer. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Now coming to the next question. Next question is, what is the difference between table visual and matrix visual? Matrix visual. So table visual, simple row and column format. Matrix visual supports hierarchy and drill down. Table visuals no drill down capability, and matrix visuals similar to Excel pivot table. And now coming to this table visual again, it is a static structure, while the matrix visual is dynamic grouping and expansions. The next question is, what is the difference between slicer and filter pane? Okay, so slicer is visual to report users, while filter pane mostly used by report developers. Slicers interactive on report page. Filter pane can be hidden from users. Slicer is a part of report design, while the filter pane configuration tool. Slicer user friendly filtering, while the filter pane is advanced filtering pane options. Coming to the next question, which is difference between distinct and values. So these are two major DAX functions that we use. So to get the distinct values, unique values, let's see the difference between these two. So the distinct is it returns unique values. Value also returns unique values. Distinct ignores blank rows, while values includes blank rows. So this is the main difference between these two. This is the strict uniqueness, respects relationships and blanks. Okay, so distinct is no blanks, values is equal to include blanks. So if you say this, the interviewer will understand that you know the difference between these two. Okay, so I think all the questions are covered here. I'll try to show all these questions in the next video to explain you as in practical in showing you in Power BI desktop. Till now, keep learning, keep enhancing their skills, and all the best for your upcoming interviews. So and thank you so much for watching, and I'll request you to like, share, and subscribe my channel so that I get motivated to create more videos. And also one more thing, like if you need the PDF file of all these questions, please comment on this video, and I'll drop you the link to download the this particular PPT in PDF format, so that you can revise anytime if you want. Okay, so thank you so much guys for your time, and keep learning, keep growing, and all the best for your upcoming interviews. Thank you so much guys. Bye bye.